Is TYM Tractors a top 3 tractor brand? That's what's on my mind today. If you're new to the channel, my name's Lucas and we're sharing our hobbies here on 38 acres in eastern Kentucky. Before we get into why I would ask that question, drop down in the comments and let me know your opinion. In your experience, whatever that experience may be. So to get everybody up to speed and on the same page here, I'm shopping for a compact tractor for my homestead. And the main reason I'm shopping for a tractor is because of this sawmill right here. I have outgrown the lifting capabilities of my current Kubota subcompact tractor. My first tractor purchase was arguably from one of the top 3 tractor manufacturers, and that's Kubota. At the time, in 2019, when I bought my Kubota tractor new, they were very competitive on pricing, they had a great reputation, they had a great product. So I saw no reason to go with anything else. But the market's changing. And there are some new players in the game, and the pricing models have changed as well. So today, by the numbers, to get a Kubota, you have to spend $6,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 more to get a comparable tractor to some of the other brands that are on the market. On paper, they're less capable. They have a much lower lift capacity. Lots of things on paper don't seem to stack up. And they're more expensive. Now we're gonna go visit one of the local dealers here soon and find out if that's actually the case. But for today's video, we wanna talk about TYM. So I'm considering a TYM tractor because lift capacity is probably the most important thing on my list. I need to be able to pick up heavy logs. In fact, on my way up here, I tried to stop and pick up a 7-foot oak log that I have that's like 30+ inches in diameter, probably close to 36 inches, honestly. And my subcompact tractor wouldn't even pick up one end of it so that I could get a chain underneath it. So I've outgrown that tractor. And the reason I'm considering TYM is because they lead the market in lift capacity. The TYM 2515 especially is at the top of its class in terms of lift capability for the price. And in my research so far, TYM has the most affordable tractor on the market. So I have to give them a good, strong look. Now, if you want to follow along and see what tractor I end up purchasing after I do several of these reviews, so be sure and like this video and subscribe so you can find out what we end up with. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I put out a video called Why Would Anyone Buy a TYM? And I talked about their lineup of tractors. I visited a local dealership and I talked about the things that the dealer shared with me about TYM tractors, all the basic marketing of the TYM brand. And when you hear all of the numbers and you see the pricing, that question turns into, why doesn't everyone buy a TYM tractor? And the number one suggestion that I get as I've started this tractor shopping experience is make sure you buy a brand that's going to have a dealer there for years to come. Now, in some parts of the US, there just aren't as many TYM dealers around, so that might be a consideration for you. Kubota has over 1,100 dealerships in the US. As of April 19th of this year, TYM had just over 300 dealerships in North America. Now, they have plans to expand and have 400 to 500 dealerships in the next 2 or 3 years. So those are all good things to hear, but they're not quite here yet. Now, one thing that I will add is that I actually have 2 TYM dealers within 30 minutes of my farm. And they are established dealers, they've been around for a while. So as long as the TYM brand is there to support them and keep them happy, then I should have no problem with dealers. And so that's kind of the next thing that I was looking into, which led me to make this video, was how is TYM investing in infrastructure to support the dealers and support their buyers? Because that's the category I'm going to be in, and I want to know that they're going to be there and I'm going to be able to get what I need to take care of my tractor. So in searching for this information, I actually stumbled across an article that was a press release from TYM from May of 2022, where they announced that they were going to be investing about $20 million into a factory in Rome, Georgia, and create about 150 jobs. That's some pretty good news. That sounds enticing. But what caught my attention was that article title was, they plan to become one of the top 3 tractor manufacturers in North America. Now, we're talking about that compact tractor market. They make tractors up to a little over 100 horsepower. So we're not talking the monster tractors, the big ag, big farming tractors. We're talking about the market for small farms and small homesteads and that sort of thing. But after reading that article, reading about the creation of jobs, reading about the investment in infrastructure, I like where that is heading. So I did a little bit more digging. One of the next reasons that people have to consider whether or not they're going to buy from one of these newer brands is that brand's reputation. TYM hasn't been a recognized name brand in North America for all that long. And we all have different experiences to draw on. But for me, when I saw the announcement in January of last year that they were going to be merging with Branson tractors, well, that gave me a whole new confidence. My dad bought a Branson tractor years ago, about a 2006 model. I think I've mentioned this before, but he really loved that tractor, got a lot of good service out of that tractor. And so that's a brand that I was more familiar with. It gave a little bit more credibility to the TYM brand and the fact that it's going to be around. So for me, reputation is somewhat satisfied. Now the next thing that is commented the most often is make sure there's going to be parts available for that tractor. And that's where I've been heading with this video the whole time, because that's one of my top concerns. See, I do a lot of my own maintenance and mechanic work, and something breaks, if I can save myself the trouble of hauling my tractor to the dealer or paying somebody to come and pick it up or having to wait on it for a little bit of time, I'll just fix it myself as long as I can get the parts. But if you've got a machine that you can't get parts for, then you've got a lawn ornament. And that's what I want to make sure that I avoid when I make my decision about what tractor to buy. What I found out was actually just this week, TYM announced the opening of a new parts and distribution center in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. In terms of logistics, that's right in my backyard. From what I understand, that facility is going to serve and distribute parts to the northeastern portion of the United States. So if they've made a brand new investment in more infrastructure and they're upgrading so that they can make sure that they have parts available and they can get them to you quickly, that's the direction that I wanted to see. And it also tells me that even in these difficult economic times, TYM is willing to invest in their own brand and their own customers to make sure that their company succeeds. It also eases some of my concerns about parts availability and how long it's going to take to get them. So, is TYM Tractors a top 3 brand in Northern America? Well, I'll leave that up to you to answer and debate over in the comments. But I do think that when they set their mind to it a couple of years ago and made that announcement that they were investing $20 million in the location in Rome, Georgia, that was a good step in the right direction. And I see them making the right decisions to grow their brand in North America. And that's encouraging to me because so far, I see them as the top contender for lift capacity and affordability. I've got lots of other brands to look at, and we're going to go visit several other dealerships before we make our decision. But I see a lot of positive things about the TYM brand. I wanted to share that with you guys, let you know what I'm thinking, and ask for your feedback. Be sure and comment and let me know what you think. If you own a TYM and you've had great experience, tell me about it. If you own a TYM and you're having problems, tell me about that too. I'd like to hear all the good and the bad, and that will help me decide which direction I'm going to go. Well, guys, as always, until next time, get outside and enjoy God's creation because it's beautiful out here. Y'all have a good day.